Hello and welcome to Prep Smart. So today we are going to discuss the Indian Express of 24th June. I hope you are following the daily newspaper analysis that I am giving to you every day. And if you have any feedback regarding that, I would love to know about that in the comments. Okay, so starting with today's news, as we can see in the very first page, there's a very important news coming from the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. So what is the news coming from here? It is the 12 years of maritime transformation of Sagar se Samriddhi, Jalmarg se Vikas. Okay, so basically this year, that is the 2026, is the 12 years of maritime transformation, where our Honorable Prime Minister has quoted that we Indians are the inheritors of a glorious maritime heritage, and it is the endeavor of our government to restore India's position of eminent in the global maritime sector. So basically, India is currently world's #1 in ship recycling. So this is a very important current affair news that we should keep in mind. Currently in ship recycling, India stands #1 worldwide, right? And we are actually putting the target was for 2030, but we are actually 5 years ahead of the target and we have already achieved that. Now in terms of the examination, there could be another information that might make you confused, is that in terms of shipbuilding, we are in the 16th position currently globally, and in terms of ship recycling, we are the first. So if any question comes that we are world #1 in both ship recycling and shipbuilding, then that statement would be wrong. Okay, so this is the thing that we should keep in focus. Apart from that, there are some pillars of transformation that has been discussed here, that is the ports bigger and smarter, waterways, shipbuilding and green transition. Now these are the data that is given. The one that I find is most important for us to know in terms of UPSC and state exams is that 111 national waterways are notified, and operational waterways number grew from 3 to 32. So currently there are total 32 operational waterways are there in our country, and 111 waterways are being notified. Okay, and in terms of shipbuilding, there is a new dry dock at Cochin shipyard inaugurated in 2024. Okay, so this is one important point, that there is a new dry dock at Cochin shipyard inaugurated in 2024. In terms of green transition, renewable energy use at major ports up to 30 times since 2014. This is very important. India's first hydrogen powered ferry launched at Varanasi December 2025. Okay, we already know that there is a very ongoing news going for the national green hydrogen mission. You have to tell me in the comment which port in India and in which particular state it is there where we are talking about the national green hydrogen mission. But this is different from the national green hydrogen mission. Please focus that this is the first hydrogen powered ferry service in Varanasi in December 2025. And also there is a green tug transition program which targets zero emission tugs at all the major ports, okay, by 2040. So this is also very important. We are just targeting zero emission in the major ports and not the all ports. Okay, so these are the areas where examination, UPSC or the other exams, they try to make us confuse. Okay, so these things we will be keeping in mind. Now after this, there are also some landmark projects that is very important for us to know. Like say for example the Jalmarg Vikas project, which is transforming the National Waterways 1 from Haldia, which is in West Bengal, to Varanasi. This is specifically important for West Bengal PSC exam students. Recently the prelims was over, mains is about to come. Then there is a Mumbai Marina, which will be the India's first world-class marina. Okay, Then there is a construction going on in the Vadhavan port in Maharashtra, which will be India's future largest container port. Now, here I want you to answer which is currently the India's largest container port. The hint is that is also in Maharashtra. Okay, and then there is also National Maritime Heritage Complex is being constructed in Lothal, right? You already know that Lothal is a very important place. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site where we can see the like maritime evidences during the IVC period, Indus Valley Civilization, right? So this is also very, very, very important. Now, what about the reforms and milestones? So, three Indian ports in now in global top 30. Sagarmala program, we already know about Sagarmala program. So, this is coming under the flagship of Sagarmala program. There are 11 landmark acts enacted, right, including the Merchant Shipping Act 2025 and Indian Ports Act 2025, which are replacing the colonial era laws. So we are getting now more contemporary laws which will be serving the contemporary issues and problems of modern India. Okay, then definitely our government is promoting one nation one port process, and also there is a vision of maritime Amritkal vision by 2047, where we are aiming India to be top 5 in inside the top 5 global maritime power by 2047. This is very important. Also in GS3, in terms of economy, the transport sector, we can quote these data for writing our answers. Okay, now next news that we will be moving. Okay, so there is a news regarding the rainfall. There is a 43% deficit in the rainfall. This news we have already covered yesterday. Now that is likely to be affecting the production of kharif crops. Now this is something wherever I have marked in green, these are the things that are the static parts that you need to cover or revise. So in terms of static of the kharif crops, so as we know, kharif crops are basically the crops that are grown during the monsoon season and they are harvested before the winter, whereas the rabi crops are the crops that we sow before the winter, and then around February March these crops are harvested. So MSP is also a very important topic. So we know that there are some particular crops on which the MSP is given. So I have made this list of what are the kharif crops that get MSP and what are the rabi crops that get MSP. So this is like static part. I will be sharing this PDF in the group after the video, so you can join the group to get the PDF. Okay, now after this there is also a discussion about the bajra or the pearl millet. Okay, now bajra or the pearl millet, again a very important thing, because our government is promoting this bajra, jawar, ragi, all this kind of millets, because these are the best crops in terms of like you can grow them in a arid or semi-arid area. As we know, like historically from the Green Revolution, there was particularly in the northeastern states, not northeastern, northwestern states of our country like Haryana, Punjab, right? All these places, heavy amount of irrigation was used for like growing the crop cultivation. Now what has happened? Because of the heavy amount of irrigation which is still ongoing in India, so the level of groundwater has decreased a lot, and now because this is also a El Nino year, that is basically in the El Nino year what happens, the amount of rainfall in India drastically drops, right? And we can see moderate to severe dryness or drought all over the India. Now this becomes a very big problem for the farmers. Now farmers in different parts of India, especially around Rajasthan and adjacent area, they are going for bajra cultivation. Okay, so now what is important about bajra? Bajra is a kharif crop and it matures in 85 to 90 days, giving us time to plant mustard in the October or wheat in the November during the Rabi season. So mustard and wheat both are Rabi crops. Before growing the mustard or Rabi, for the short period of time, around 90 days, which is technically around 3 months, a person, if the monsoon is not that good, they can grow the bajra in that particular cropland. Okay, so it is basically a rain-fed crop. So a maximum requirement of 3 irrigations, only 3 irrigations are required. If rain is not there sufficient, only 3 irrigations are required, as compared to other crops like wheat or mustard, which requires way more, like almost double irrigation. Okay, so that is why bajra has become the first choice of crop for farmers across Rajasthan, southern Haryana, neighboring parts of UP, etc. Right? Also, its requirement for fertilizer is also very less. Okay, so in terms of water, it requires less water. In terms of fertilizer and agrochemicals, it also requires less fertilizer and agrochemicals. And additionally, it is also an excellent source of fodder. Fodder means the food that is given to the cattle. Okay, so it's a very good source of fodder as compared to chopped wheat straw. So all in all, bajra is a very good alternative crop during the months of lower monsoon, specifically the year where El Nino strikes India. Now I will highly encourage you also to revise the concept of El Nino. I have added this diagram here. You can quickly just revise what is El Nino, what is La Nina, and what happens during the Pacific Ocean during ENSO activity, that is El Nino Southern Oscillation. Okay, so after this, next we will be moving to the next news. Okay, so the next news is about government tightens FCRA norms for NGOs getting foreign funds, revises penalties. So basically, what is FCRA? Okay, so FCRA, it stands for Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Okay, FCRA stands for Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, which is basically a statutory framework in our country where foreign contributions are regulated in terms of certain organizations or associations or individuals or NGOs. Okay, so it is not like that. Suppose I have an NGO and some foreign person, suppose somebody from Dubai want to give some donation in my NGO. So there are certain regulations and rules and prohibitions. According to that only donations can be made. Okay, so for that we need to know who are prohibited to accept foreign funds. Okay, this is important. So candidates contesting elections, members of any legislature, like either they are MPs or MLAs or MLCs, political parties or office bearers. If I am a public servant, I am a judge or any government employee. If I am a journalist, I am a columnist, I am a cartoonist, or I am the editor or publisher of any registered newspaper or digital media organization. Basically, you can see the positions that are hold to the public, right? We have that, like the positions that hold accountability to the public. They cannot take money or foreign funds under the FCRA Act. Now, what is the contemporary news? The contemporary news is talking about that government tightens FCRA norms for NGOs getting foreign funds, revise penalties. Okay, so there are different areas in which FCRA is allowed. So what we need to know here is that the schedule lays out permitted activities under religious, cultural, economic, educational and social health. So under these categories, that is religious, cultural, economic, educational and social heads, the donations are allowed, but there are also some exemptions or exclusions. What is that? Most significant charges are in the religious category, for which the home ministry, so home ministry is the responsible ministry that we should keep in mind, has listed activities that are allowed excluding proselytization. Okay, now in religious act, if I am doing some kind of charity or some kind of that kind of work, that is allowed. But what is proselytization? Basically, if I want to convert a person, so any act regarding conversion is not allowed under FCRA Act. Okay, so this we have to keep in mind. Now this comes under GS2, governance and policies. Okay, so again I have added the points that is there for the FCRA Act, so you can also read it after reading from here. Okay, next we will be going to, wait, let me just, yeah, the next news. Okay, so Padma Awards 2026. Okay, so Padma Awards is recently been given. Okay, and for that we need to know certain static points regarding the Padma Awards. So what are the static points regarding the Padma Awards? First we have to know that what are the number of Padma Awards that is being given in this year. Also, if you are preparing for your state PSC, you should be knowing who are the person, if anybody is getting any Padma award from your state or for the state you are preparing for. Okay, so that should that you should be preparing. And so if we got to know, so these are the persons. Our President Draupadi Murmu has awarded the Padma award, that is Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, and then Padma Shri. Okay, so these are the awards. So yeah, so if we come to the static part, yeah, so the total list of 131 awards consist of the following distributions. There are 5 Padma Vibhushan, which is the highest honor, and then there are 13 Padma Bhushan titles this year was given, and then 113 Padma Shri awards. Now in this 130 there are 2 duo awards, basically where 2 persons were awarded together, and that is counted as one single head. Like say for example, person A and B is awarded together, but that will be counted as one Padma Shri award. Okay, so below that these are some of the static parts. So Padma Awards is one of the highest civilian awards of the country. The awards are announced on the occasion of the Republic Day every year. So announcement was done way before in the Republic Day, but the actual gift, or not gift will be wrong word, so actual award is given yesterday. Okay, so these awards are conferred by the President of India at ceremonial functions which are held at Rashtrapati Bhavan, usually around March or April every year. This year this was given around like in June, but this is the tentative time frame. Okay, so we should be remembering when it is announced, that is the Republic Day of the year. Who gives the Padma Award? President gives the Padma Award. And also, as I told you, you should be knowing that who all get from your state or for the state you are preparing for. So for that I have added the link from PIB directly. You can just click this link, open the PDF, and you can read for your specific state. Okay. Okay, so now moving to the next news, as we can see that there was a 3-day Gurdwara standoff which basically ended. So what happened here, basically there were some rivalry happened, right, standoff happened between the Nihang Sikhs with the local people in the Karnaprayag. Okay, so for that what happened, they basically abducted 3 of them, the Nihang Sikhs, and for that what they did, so they had alleged sought the release of 4 Nihang, not 3, sorry, 4 Nihang Sikhs devotees who were accused of assaulting a group of locals in Karnaprayag. The Nihang Sikh group occupied the top floor of the Gurdwara and started pelting stones and vandalizing the building. So after the local police and everybody came, so basically now those persons who were like held, the Nihang Sikhs, they have released, and there is a like a local delegation happened, and after that now the matter for now has been resolved. Now what is important for us to know here? 2 things. First, who are the Nihang Sikhs, right? Who are the Nihang Sikhs? These are the armed warrior order within Sikhism known for blue attire. As you can see in the photo also, they have they are wearing the blue attire, and martial traditions historically tasked with defending the faith. Okay, so Nihang Sikh are basically a order within the Sikhism. They wear blue attire. They are known for their martial traditions, and they are tasked with defending the faith. So this is one thing important in terms of art and culture, tradition, and also society. And then apart from that, one other question I would be likely to asking you, that Karna Prayag. So Karna Prayag is one of the Panch Prayag that we read while we read about the course of the river Ganga. So my question to you, can you tell me that which two rivers are meeting at the Karna Prayag? Okay, so I will be waiting for your answer in the comment. Now after this news, the next news we will be moving. Okay, so Lipu Lake Pass. Now there is a big news has came in the Indian Express regarding the Lipu Lake Pass. Basically, this pass was stagnant for a few years of time, and now recently it has been again open for trading route to the China. Now, what is important for us to know here in terms of the static point? The important thing for us to know is that the Lipu Lake Pass is located at the tri-junction of the three countries, that is China, India and Nepal. Okay, this is very important for us to know. We cannot miss any marks for if any question comes that simple, that where is the Lipu Lake Pass located. The Lipu Lake Pass is located in Uttarakhand. Okay, it is located in Uttarakhand, not Himachal. Okay, please don't confuse. And it is located in the tri-junction of the three countries, China, India and Nepal. Okay, so for your revision of the static purpose, I have also added one diagram of the mountain passes that could be important. So I will ask you that if you revise these things, this will be very easy for you for the upcoming any exams that you are targeting for. Next, after this, so this is the editorial page. Here many important editorials have come. You can read about that. One, I will definitely say there is a recently fire safety case that was in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so I will ask you to read about the fire safety norms and this particular editorial. Okay, and also yesterday we discussed about right to walk. Okay, and I also told you to read about the anti-defection law. There was an editorial regarding anti-defection law in yesterday's paper. So can you tell me in comment that right to walk comes under which particular fundamental right? Okay, so again I am asking you so that you revise as you go forward every day, and at the end of the week we will also have a summary, but I want you to be in touch. Okay, next in the explain section, a very important news has come regarding the choice of autonomy in reproductive health in case of women. Okay, so let us read about this particular article which talks about intellectual disabilities and the question of choice in giving birth. So recently the Karnataka High Court permitted the parents of a 23-year-old woman with severe intellectual and developmental disabilities a total abdominal hysterectomy. Now, what is hysterectomy? Hysterectomy is basically a surgical procedure through which the uterus of the female is being removed. Okay, now the ruling was the latest instance of court's intervention in the reproductive autonomy of the women with intellectual disabilities. Decisions that often involve the complex intersection of law, medicine and human rights. Now basically here different laws and articles are associated. First, we will be talking about the section 10 of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016. Now, this particular law prevents the person with disability from being subjected to any medical procedure leading to infertility without their free and informed consent. Okay, this is for a person with disability. If that person wants to go any such procedure that in future will lead to their infertility. Infertility means basically they cannot produce babies of their own in the future. So if anything like that happens, like for that, basically the person themselves need to give the consent. Okay, nobody other than that person should be taking the decision for that person. But here, because the person we are talking about is having a mental disability, intellectual disability, for that the Supreme Court has talked, sorry, not Supreme Court, my bad, the Karnataka High Court has talked about the best interest of the person. So what is the best interest? Best interest lies basically for individuals unable to care for themselves. The courts invoke parens patriae, which is basically a doctrine where the court steps into the shoe of a guardian. So basically, court thinks all of the consequences, side effects, pros and cons, what is that particular person needs in that particular situation, and based on the best interest of that person, prioritizing their health, dignity and bodily integrity, the court will take a decision. Okay, now what are the guidelines on hysterectomies? The issue of consent and medical necessity in hysterectomy was addressed via the Supreme Court in Dr. Narendra Gupta versus Union of India case. Please note that, can use in your GS2 answers, which highlighted the unnecessary hysterectomies were being carried out on women, particularly from marginalized communities under government health insurance scheme. Recently, there was also a news in the past where I think the women in Maharashtra, they were working in some sugarcane farm or something. Their uterus were being removed. They were doing that so that they do not miss on the labor payout days and they can earn the money for sustaining their family. Okay. Now, these procedures were often allegedly performed in private hospitals without consent or informing the women about side effects. Okay, so basically if a woman undergoes hysterectomy, in future the women cannot undergo a natural pregnancy. Now many women who are not that much educated or illiterate, they do not know about the side effects. Okay, so they don't know about that. For some little money or something, they sometimes illegally go under such procedure in the private hospitals. Now, recognizing this as a serious violation of the fundamental right of health under Article 21, the Supreme Court directed all states and union territories to strictly implement Union Health Ministry's 2022 guidelines to prevent unnecessary hysterectomies. The court said that there should be a national level, a state level and a district level audit such surgeries and directed the blacklisting of hospitals found performing this procedure without the consent. So till now we have discussed about these particular laws. First is the Right of Persons with Disabilities Act, where if the person is undergoing any procedure, surgical procedure that may alter their fertility, that particular person must be giving the consent, nobody else. Then we talked about the doctrine of parens patriae, where in certain situations where the person, like say the woman is in this case intellectually disabled, they can't take their own decision, so the court will take the decision in terms of the best interest of the affected person. Then we have also discussed about the Supreme Court judgment in Dr. Narendra Gupta versus Union of India case, and we also get to know about that Article 21 gives a fundamental right to health. That is also very important for us to remember. Right now, there is also another act which is important, which is the MTP, that is the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971. Under this act, if a pregnant woman has a mental illness, a pregnancy can be terminated with the written consent of her guardian. That is for mental illness. But in this particular case, she don't have mental illness. The court differentiate between mental illness and this particular disability, that is the intellectual disability. Okay, now the law however does not extend this guardian consent provision to women with intellectual disabilities, right? For them, their own consent remains an absolute legal requirement for an abortion. So if abortion needed to be done, Please don't confuse. Here the news is about hysterectomy. Hysterectomy is uterus removal. But suppose there is a mentally or intellectually disabled person goes under not goes under, becomes a victim of rape, and then if she needs to go for abortion, for that she needs to give her own consent. Her parent cannot do that. Okay, but if she is mentally ill person, then in that case the guardian can give the consent. Okay, so for that there is also another case of Suchita Srivastava versus Chandigarh administration. Okay, so this is all about this particular article, very important one. I have highlighted all the important parts. I would ask you, you also go through by yourself once after I upload this PDF in my group. Okay, next there is another important article about the straightforward constitutional process to replace the UK PM. So we know recently the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he has resigned from as the post of the Prime Minister, also as the leader of the Labour Party. So this is very important. Now, what is important for us to know that how the process of choosing the Prime Minister or a person of being a Prime Minister is different in India with respect to UK, right? So we know that in India, if a person is not a member of the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, still that person can be chosen as the Prime Minister, but for that the maximum time period is 6 months, right? Within that 6 months the person need to be chosen from any of the houses, either the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, otherwise his candidature will be cancelled. But if we talk about UK, for UK this is different. In UK, candidates must be an MP in the House of Commons and have requisite support among members. So basically, to be the Prime Minister, first you have to be an MP and then only you can be contesting for the post of the Prime Minister. Now what is House of Commons? Like in our own parliament, we have two houses, the lower house and the upper house. The upper house is the Rajya Sabha, the lower house is the Lok Sabha. For them, the upper house is known as the House of the Lords. So how you can remember, basically Lord, like God. So he is on top of us. So upper house, the House of Lords. Lower house, like we common people, so House of the Common. And this Prime Minister who has resigned, he was coming from which party? He was coming from the Labour Party. Okay, and another difference is that when a person is elected as the, not elected, because we know that the majority party comes in the Lok Sabha and then the leader of the majority party is selected as the Prime Minister. And who takes the oath of the Prime Minister? That is the President in case of India. But in case of UK, the leader of the winning party is subsequently invited by the monarch, who is presently King Charles III, to form the new government. So the PM, the person who is going to be appointed as PM need to go to the king, and then the king will declare him as the Prime Minister. Okay, so that is the difference. Please keep that in mind. Okay, and then this we have already discussed, that how the India, see currently India, US is the only country where India has a trade surplus. But because of the growing trend of India is having more and more import from US and the amount of export of us to US is going down, so now our trade surplus has decreased around 40%. Okay, so that is one of the major concern. This I have already discussed in yesterday's video. The PYQ is also, like MCQ is also there in the Telegram channel. So again, I would ask you to join the channel so that you get all the updates and also can practice the questions. Now, next is on the defense front. In the defense front, what we are talking about, we will be talking about invisible drones and what is the concept of hard kill. Invisible drone is basically a type of drone that is being used in asymmetric warfare, right? From Ukraine to Lebanon, basically the more powerful party, they are using the advanced technology upon the less powerful, like in terms of economy, in terms of defense, to basically have an advantage on the war. So what is basically this invisible drone? and what is this particular term, that is hard kill, I have added here. Invisible drone is a type of drone, is basically where it is attached via a very ultra thin wire which is made out of glass and plastic, and because it is attached to the operator, it has a lower range, like typically 5 to 30 kilometers. One of the very good advantage of using this particular drone is that because it is attached to a physical cord, it does not emit any kind of radio frequency. So by using radars or warfare tracking system or GPS, it does not use GPS, so the opponent cannot track that these drones are coming. Okay, so this is one of the very important thing. So please go through this document. And then what is hard kill in terms of India, because we in 2025 there was Operation Sindoor and drone attacks were there. So the concept of hard kill is coming, where if a swarm of drones are coming, basically getting those drones, destroying those drones by using physical means, by firing a gun, by using another suicide drone, or launching a small missile. Okay. Okay, so then there is a discussion about the FCNR deposits or FCNR accounts. So what are FCNR accounts? This is basically foreign currency non-resident deposit accounts, and now RBI is promoting this particular accounts. It has introduced certain changes to boost forex inflows, because we know recently there was a decline in the forex reserve in India, and also our money value is depreciating, rupee value is depreciating. So to balance that, on June 5th, RBI allowed banks to mobilize a fresh 3 to 5 year FCNR deposits, so that it can swap it with the concessional rate of the forex reserve. Okay, so here what is important for us to know for prelims? We should be knowing that what are the different type of accounts that is there, like what is savings account, like what is time deposit, and what is the other type of account. So all this static data should be very clear for us. Okay, now next is, okay, this again, it's a news from yesterday that Kunal Shah, he was the founder of Cred, is now going to lead the WhatsApp. So this is very important for your state specific or SSC or upcoming SSC exam is going to come. So this is very important. And then China beats US with world's fastest supercomputer. So now China has the world's fastest supercomputer because of the chip designing efforts, and currently China has isolated itself in terms of chip development. So that is also in news. And yeah, with that, today's newspaper is over. I hope you liked today's session. If you have any suggestion, any question, please write that out in comment. I would like to know that. After the class, I will also be posting this annotated PDF of the newspaper in my channel, and along with the static PDF. So if you want that and also want to practice some questions of today's current affairs, please join my channel. The link will be given in the description of this video. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.